Have another drink with Jimmy. Brought to you by, how do we say this, Jimmy?
Mer Soleil.
Mer Soleil, a Santa Lucia Highlands wine that's been cooled by the bay and kissed by the sun. Wine the way it should be. Stop by your local store and pick up some today.
What's the point?
Oh, where's your theme music? I'm doing too much.
Have another drink.
I've got, there we go.
Have another drink, it'll make you feel better. Have another drink and you feel alright. If you feel down and you're under the weather, have another drink and you feel alright.
Well, here he is, El Capitan of the Wine Academy of Utah, Jimmy Santangelo, wineacademyofutah.com. He's here to talk about wine with us, and also in the second segment, Jimmy will hang around. We'll answer questions as well about wine and spirits and restaurants and
food
etiquette and all of that
kinds of
sort
good
of thing.
stuff.
Yeah, Mer Soleil, that means sun and sea?
That's right, the sun and the sea, and that's what's really influencing this wine. These vineyards are grown about 40 minutes outside of Monterey in Central Coast, California.
Oh, beautiful.
This is a winery started by Chuck Wagner, right? Mer Soleil. That's of Caymus Cabernet Sauvignon fame, and his son Charlie is the winemaker for this and the Mer Soleil. What's neat about this, I'm losing my train of thought because what's neat about this is these wines were planted in 1988, and then their first production was in 92. The Mer Soleil, we're featuring two different Chardonnays here. Their Silver and then their Reserve. This Silver, both these Chards are made from the exact same fruit, but treated differently in the winery.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity to have one that's unoaked, it's like stainless steel and this crisp, ripe fruit coming through. And then the Mer Soleil is a bit more oak aged. So it's really fun. It's a great exercise to be able to taste wines side by side from the same producer, same relatively vineyard, same wine growing area. But then it's a discipline or an exercise of tasting between two different wines made differently, two wines made differently in the winery. Kind of neat.
This now the one I have that you left from my house yesterday.
Yeah.
This is the oaked.
Yeah, the Mer Soleil, that should be the anniversary. That's they're celebrating their 30th anniversary from 92. This is their release in 2022.
We'll show them the label. So they can
It's very good. It went very well with the Vietnamese, the noodle bowl that I had with caramelized pork. It was really good, and I like it. It tastes very fruit forward, as I've learned to say.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What they do here is long hang time. What that means is they'll keep the fruit, the grapes, on the vine for an extended period of time.
They do that to me too.
You got a long
I have a long hang time.
Yeah, and you can you can tell that because on the back of the label, if you look at the alcohol level, it's 14.5% alcohol by volume. On average, your wines are about 13.5. So here's a little pro tip. When you're in the wine store and you're like, yeah, this is a warm region, but how is this going to show? The tasting notes aren't that evident on labels. They kind of want you to discover it by getting the bottle and assessing it. One hint is if you have a high alcohol level on a wine, that means that fruit, when they picked it, when they harvested the grapes, that was really ripe. A lot of sugars in that ripe, sweet grape. Well, the reason that's important is we convert grape sugars into alcohol during fermentation to make your grape juice into wine. So if you have a high alcohol wine, that means it's going to be a riper style, such as this. This is very round, a lot of tropical and orchard fruit. Get a lot of baked pear in here. You get a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla from the oak aging, but it's got a creaminess to it that is very evident.
When you compare the two, because they're the same grape, but when you compare the unoaked versus the oaked, the silver versus the anniversary is smooth. The unoaked one is delicious and sharp and.
No, I like that you said sharp. I'm going to taste it.
Crisp, maybe?
Crisp is a better word. Yeah. That's okay.
That was too big of a sip.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Chardonnays, Jimmy, used to be just like a hugely popular wine, and then hadn't it dropped off and become less popular?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun other grape varietals out there. Chardonnay to a winemaker is what a blank canvas is to an artist. You can really move it around. For example, the silver, so now this is the unoaked Mer Soleil. The screw top, all available in the stores. In fact, they're both on sale this month. The silver is $14.99, and then the Mer Soleil Reserve is $18.99. No business these wines should be that low.
I was going to say this is a good price for this wine.
Get a 6-pack each of these wines. You will not be unhappy. But the silver, although unoaked, it does sit on its lees a little bit. So after you make wine, you have that the dead yeast. The yeast is spent. It's consumed all the grape sugar, so the yeast is like, now what? So it drops to the bottom of the floor of the vat that you're making the wine. But you can keep that yeast, that lees in the vat, and you can stir it around a little bit. And what that does is it gives this nice texture and creaminess. Not oakiness, but a nice creaminess. And as you both pointed out, and Carrie says sharp, that's the acidity in the wine. So this wine's got more of that crunchy green apple, crunchy orchard fruit, whereas it's the same fruit, then it's baked. And that's what the description of the fruit is going into the reserve.
Which makes me want to go back to Chardonnays.
Yeah, for sure.
I've always been a Chardonnay fan, always.
Some of the best Chardonnays are barrel fermented, so that's when you crush the juice, you put the juice inside a barrel, and you convert the juice into wine in a barrel. That's a classic Burgundian technique.
I mean, a nice cold Chardonnay on a hot day out on the porch reading comic books, that's perfect.
That's nice.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
So I got to pick up some of this, the anniversary stuff.
Yeah,
I've had the silver. I've got some of the silver at home, as a matter of fact.
And the let's see the alcohol level on the silver. It should be right here. It's 14.6. So also, again, showcasing that ripeness of the fruit, letting that fruit hang on the vine a little bit longer.
What kind of an investment is that, though? That you decide, well, we're going to grow grapes, and you plant them in 1988.
Yeah, in 88, and then you're not. Yeah, you don't get into the wine business. They say if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to make $1 million in the wine world, you got to start with 10 million. Because, it's
right.
It's a commodity. It's a crop. You're worried about birds, weather, all kinds of things. And when people ask me, just the other night, and I think we got to go to commercial. Just the other night. Somebody asked me, they're like, hey, I want to go to wine country. When should I go? I'm like, not in the fall when they're picking the grapes. They're a nervous wreck. Go in the spring when they got all the time in the world.
Exactly.
But, Jeff, definitely pick up some Mer Soleil for you here, the silver and the reserve today.
Delicious.
Very good.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
That's it.
Jimmy, I know you have a bunch of events.
Yes. What do you got?
Bunch of events.
You know what? Next Thursday, I'm at the Westerner, and we're doing a whiskey tasting featuring American single malts. This is one of my favorite tastings that we're doing. Think Scotch, a whiskey made with barley, but the Americans, we're going to age it in brand new American oak barrel. Hope to see you there.
Okay, you can find out and sign up at wineacademyofutah.com.
Yeah, you've also got your wine education coming. Tracy Aviary is on the way. Leonardo?
Yeah, Leonardo. Wine takes flight at Tracy Aviary. We're featuring wines of Portugal. I'm going to pair a little True Fruit with that one at that tasting, so that'll be fun. We've got Leonardo Museum featuring the French countryside.
Thank you, sir. WineAcademyofutah.com.